All right. So LeBron JJ made a podcast. All right, they talked about that. And one of the things they talked about in there of like who was the most influential person, I was like, I forget it was like the NBA the last like but I was like, anyway, JJ didn't really give his or give anything about it because that's not necessarily what this kind of podcast is, even though I feel like he could have done it in a way that wouldn't have created this or whatever, kind of thing. But LeBron basically said Allen Iverson and Stephen Curry. Now we already know what's going to go on with with everybody else on all their shows. But with the whole LeBron, MJ kind of thing, because he alluded to that like what MJ did, but he said influential on the game. Now I will say that I think that the way LeBron was saying it, I do get what he's saying, because it's like I was like because I was like I guess playing the game as well too, sort of like first of all I think Stephen Curry is a correct answer. Allen Iverson, I don't disagree with that question either. I mean that answer either. I guess it was just that there was nobody else that it could be. When I think it's like not that it need to be like a list or anything like that, but that there could be a case for several other people. Um, because I like for instance they alluded to like Oscar Robinson basically fighting for free agency, and I'm like that's could be 10 that could probably count and all that. Um, I was like, for instance, like LeBron's game, which for the longest everybody says more like Manu Johnson, more so than anybody else. Um, I was like I like Shaq comes to mind of like big man and all that other like all those kind of things like just like some of that like stuff in general of because I feel like a lot of them are of the same ilk, but I also understand too like Curry aside because the 3-point shooting and the way like him at the same time of like people doing like analytics and stuff popped at the popped at the right time, and that has totally changed the game. Um, I was like, I think MJ did because of like the rules that had to be changed in order for like like for him to play and stuff like that because he all that roughing up they ain't like that. So I was like, I don't think that his answer was wrong. And also too, I was like, I also don't know they seemed like they was on a little bit of a limit as well. I was like, maybe he just wanted to also get out the question, or maybe there was too many on his mind. I was like, I just assumed that you could probably find a few more um, that could be, I guess, in that way. But I was like, it's not many. Let's be honest, it's not really that many, especially like the last like 10 or whatever. I don't think there's 10 so years. I don't think there's really been. I was like, I was like, but he talked about like AI with the handling and stuff like that. And I was like, I do understand that. I just think that it's just, but I guess maybe his point is that I'm like thinking real life, talking about it and thinking about it is that things that still really exist now. Because I was like, we don't really have big men in the same way that needed to be talked about past years. I was like, they don't rough each other up the same way they used to, where that's a thing. Um, to where it's like now handling him becomes such a thing, and that's really because of Iverson. The way that we shoot the ball is really because of Curry, and with that whole system of pass, playing open space and that kind of thing. I was like, that all has to do with him. So I was like, while there could be other people on the list, and everybody can be to whoever there is, because I was like, you could probably point at a couple people. I was like, you might be able to say, uh, like Dirk, for instance, of just like a big man that can just make a living off of shooting on the perimeter, and we see like that now. I was like, you can talk about not necessarily. I was gonna say like small basketball player, but I was like, No, but I was like, you might be able to say Steve Nash with how they sort of played that, where it was like it started, and even like even Gilbert and stuff like that, of those type of point guards that will attack and take off dribble, and we just don't have to pass anymore. Um, I was like, and I'm not saying I'm not. I was like, I'm not saying with like Gil and Steve Nash necessarily, but I'm like, if you, I was like, find that point of like like the 7 seconds or less, that type of thing. It's almost like with Curry with the 3 point and the pat. And I was like, so there's other players that you could probably put in here. I was like, I might run for the thing to give a read the thing, but I was like, um, but no, I think I was like, I think there is a couple more, and maybe if they really wanted to make that a topic, they could have or whatnot. Because I was like, they're really historians of the game, so they're going to come up with a lot more and a lot more in depth stuff like that. Anything I'll be able to do. So, but no, I was like, uh, I thought it was just interesting. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be talked about and grabbed or whatever. Um, that those two would be his. I guess it's, because I was like, especially because it's like, I know there's things that he probably took, like he talked about the arm sleeve and stuff like that. Him and Reddick, and the tats and stuff. But also at the same time, it's like, I was like, I guess it's not necessarily his game in that type of way, uh, for to be like to talk about them specific. Most time, I feel like more people talk about what influenced them and how they play. But anyway, uh, yeah, more great stuff coming out this podcast. Wait to see. Peace.